I'm here. Sorry, I'm a little late. I got something hot off the press there. It's sitting on the piano. I just had a big conversation with my Rav. Can you hear me okay? I hope someone's here. Come say that you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Okay, I'm coming around. All right, guys. I hope you're here. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let me know. I got this hot off the press. I just spoke with my Rav. Let me see if there's anybody here. Just let me know. I don't want to talk and then you can't hear me. Is there anyone here? I hope you're here. I don't see nobody. Okay. I see the chat thing's open, I think. Yeah. All right. All right. So this is Health and Fitness for Immortality number 9. We're trying to become holy, righteous, saintly, holy, gifted with God's gifts and one with Him so completely that we're Adam. What was it called again? Adam Kadmon. It's like the complete perfect man or something like that. And I'm shooting for a target. It's better than not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I came from no background and I'm trying to get myself first and us on this target and then on the center of the target. So I know basically how to get there. And I know the direction I'm going, and I'm trying to get us there. And hopefully God will help us. Is anybody there that you let me know that that you hear me? Nobody's here, okay? All right, I'm sorry. All right, so there's a post that I wanted to put on Facebook about Israel. And I've always wanted to know all this information anyway. I knew some of it, knew a lot of it probably, and I now just got off the phone with my Rav. I haven't been able to organize it yet, so I'm going to do it with you live. I'm just going to look at the information and try to come to some conclusions live in the hot seat with you. Okay, so Israel. So now, there were some people online who were making comments and they were laughing at me, with a little laugh emoji, whatever. And I first of all push all that stuff aside. I don't let people get to me that way. They're kind of rude and obnoxious. I know that there's a group coming from a false religion that are trying to take over the world. So they're trying to use the media in a way to, in their eyes, they think we're the enemy. We are their biggest friend, because without us, they won't know how to live to serve God properly and to fulfill the purpose of life. They just don't know it yet. So I'm trying to make it clear to them that we're not their enemy, but I'm trying to promote truth, end falsity, and end anti-Semitism as a result of being their actual friend. They'll see that we are their actual friend and they shouldn't try to wipe us out. That's basically it. And I don't really care if they like me or not. I still have to do this job of teaching the world the truth. Why are we alive? How do we fulfill that purpose properly? Can you guys hear me? Just tell me you're here. Can you hear me? Tell me if you can hear me or not, please. So I don't keep talking. You guys are here. Thank God. Okay, tell me that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Tell me yes or no. Yes or no. Tell me. Type it. Yes or no. Can you hear me, guys? Please tell me so I don't waste time. I just want to be able to speak. I got couple of things to talk about, and I want to get to the Gentiles' obligations. Please. Type, can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes, no. Type, tell me. I want to discuss Israel. I want to discuss the Gentile 7 obligation. I want to go through the details. So please, can you hear me? Yes, excellent. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Thank you so much. All right. Look, so I went online and I try to take people seriously. I don't know if when a person comes to me, if they're from a false religion trying to treat me as the enemy and mess me up in some way, or if they're really sincere. So I try to treat everybody as if they're sincere. And I don't take personally when people are rude and obnoxious. They just don't know how to keep the Torah. They'll be punished by God. They'll get it one way or another, or just being embarrassed because they're treating a friend, probably their only friend in the world, like an enemy. I mean, that's just stupid, but you guys do what you got to do. Well, I'm here to help you. I'm trying to save your life. I'm not taking any pleasure in this, and I'm not going to take any pain in this either. So but I spent a lot of time with my Rav on the phone regarding Israel, so I can explain Israel to not only you guys, but to myself too. I mean, I understand certain concepts, but certain things need to be spelled out. So I'm going to give you what me and my Rav discussed on the phone for a while. Not only is he a Poseik, an authority on the Torah, but he's an historian. He knows history very well. So he was like giving me details. Wow. So involved, and I think I made a chart, and from this I'm going to come out with some type of post where I can clear up misconceptions about Israel, or more importantly, give you the truth about the land of Israel. It's really very simple. I mean, off the cuff, I'll say it like this. God exists, and this was part of I made a post already on Facebook, and I want to do the 7 laws of Noah for you guys too. I'll get to that, the details. I think we're on 4, right? Number 4, we did 1, 2, and I think we did. Well, I'll see when we get there. So let me read this to you. But basically, God created earth. God created the earth. In the first sentence of the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim eis hashamayim ve'eis ha'aretz. I'm pronouncing it, going back and forth between the way I'm taught and the way I think I should say it. Bereshit bara Elokim eith hashamayim ve'eith ha'aretz. Basically, it says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, but that's not really the meaning. You need the oral law to really understand what it is. I'm taught that Rashi says it's because of the Torah and those who fulfill the Torah, God created the heavens and the earth. And it's not even in the right order, because supposedly the heavens didn't come in that way. Rashi says it's not like that. So anyway, why I say that is because I'm letting you know who created the earth. Sometimes we forget. It's strange. Our minds somehow don't latch on to simple truths. There's a God. I'm a walking miracle, right? So God created the earth. All the land on earth belongs to him, okay? It doesn't belong to me. I don't own anything. I'm lucky I'm even alive and breathing, right? So I say those 2 points I make, and then I say, Rashi makes a comment on that first sentence, and he says, if they should call you robbers, which you're doing basically. Someone just made a post and said something like, they didn't know, I don't think they knew that the obligations were for them. I guess they're a Gentile. They thought it was for us, and I think she wanted to make a snide comment and say, well, you really mean 5 because you steal and you murder, right? Meanwhile, October 7th, you guys did everything possible, and now you're trying to flip the narrative. You're not going to pull that garbage on me. I'm not a dumb person. I know what you're doing. This is part of your war against your friends, but you call us the enemy because you're not too bright. You're a little slow on the uptick. You don't understand that Bilam was the last Gentile prophet, so Muhammad could not have been a prophet. Plus, true prophets cannot change the Torah of Moses. So, no matter what you say, even if you prove that he was a prophet, but you can't, because he was a Gentile that came after Bilam, if you really want to call him a true prophet, he's not, because he changed the whole Torah. God's instructions, God does not want that. I'm just speaking for God. I could care less rather be on the beach drinking a pina colada, but I'm here and I'm trying to help God get what he wants done. And I'm trying to fulfill my obligations properly, and I want to do it right so I can be at the highest level for him, and you should want the same. Anyway, so she made that snide remark, and I said, no, they're your obligations if you're a Gentile. And I played kind of dumb about it. I know she was trying to stick me like that. I don't have time for this, for their war, their stupid war against their friends. We're their friends. They don't get it. They think we're the enemy. They're hurting themselves. That's the problem. But they're not very bright. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help them. Anyway, so Rashi says, and I wrote, God can take the land from whomever he wants and give it to whomever he wants. And then you're supposed to, Rashi also says, God took it from the 7 nations or something like that and gave it to us. So then I went on to say, God promised the land to Abraham, right? That's my ancestor. He was an Ivri, a Hebrew. I'm going to get to that in a second. I am also a Hebrew. I'm an Israelite. We went through changes. We were Hebrews, then I'll get to this. I'm just giving you the highlights. Jacob became named, God added to his name and made it Israel. So then we were called the children of Israel. So I'm also one of the children of Israel. And then when the land of Israel was divided into 2 kingdoms, my Rav said, it was Israel and Yehuda, right? Israel and Judah. So, and I also said, I still had a little unclear about it because I thought we came from the tribe of Yehuda and we're called Yehudim. That's what Jews are, Yehudim. But let me go through what I have, and then I'll go back to him after I'm done with this. Probably this is going to whip me into shape. I'll have all kinds of ideas. If you got any ideas too, let me see if you wrote anything. And then I'll come back to you. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, you. Okay, you, yes, I can't hear you. Can or cannot? Korea, tell me, can you hear me? Oh no. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes or no? Korea, tell me. Yes or no? I can't hear you? What do you mean? Oh no. Korea, are you there? Korea, are you there? Can you hear me? Korea, can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes or no, please. Anybody? Is anyone there? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Please. Oh, I'm down. I can't hear you? I don't believe this. Are you just messing with me, or are you telling me the truth? Yes, I can. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Excellent. All right. Oh, I appreciate it. See, some people try to mess with me too. I don't know who's telling me the truth. This is a rough period in history, man. It's just, you don't know what's true anymore. I have to just keep my horse stance, stay grounded to the floor, and know my truth, which is God's truth, and I'm giving you the truth. I know that sounds like everybody says that, but no, this is the truth. This is the only truth. I'm a student of A Poseik, of an authority. This is the highest level Torah truth you're going to have on earth, and I'm giving it to you. All right, so here's what my Rav told me. First, we have, this is all about Israel. I'm trying to figure out, because people said that I'm not indigenous to the land, that I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. Wait till you hear what I have to say about that, what he told me. And then I'm definitely a descendant of Avraham. Okay. In fact, my father's name was Avraham. I think he was named after our descendant. In fact, it was Avraham Yitzchak was my dad's name. Okay, so Abraham and Isaac, the father and the son. He was named both. Okay, so there was Shem and Aver. Now, I thought it might start with Adam or Rishon, the first man, but my Rav said, no, it has nothing to do with him, although there was a spot in Israel, so I didn't ask him. I think where the Gan Eden was, where the Garden of Eden was, it started in Israel, in that spot where the Beis Hamikdash is, the temple. It was built, I think, on the spot where Adam Rishon lived or was born, and both, right? Born and lived. I'll have to ask him again. I'll write that in there. That's a good, see, I'm sitting in a hot seat and I'm getting ideas. Okay, so there's Adam and then Noach. Okay, now Noach's son Shem. Shem and Aver. So he had Shem, which was 10 generations before Abraham. He was a Navi, he was a prophet. Okay, and Shem's great-grandson was Aver. And the two of them had a yeshiva together. Now, Aver is the first Ivri. This is very important. Ivri is the first Hebrew. Okay? I thought maybe Avram was the first Hebrew. No, my Rav said, no, it's Aver. And then he gave me some definitions. Descendant of Aver. So Abraham is a descendant of Aver. And it means from across the other side of the river. And that's what that Ivri means. And it's a Hebrew. Hebrew is like a phonetic way of saying Ivri. And Abraham, of course, was a Navi. Aver was, yes, he was a Navi too. He was a prophet. Shem, Aver, so it's Shem, Aver, then Abraham, right? Not in that, I'm missing people within, but in the generations, but I'm just giving you the important key players. So Abraham was an Ivri. Now, okay, and then some person who probably was a false person because they said that the Torah was not true and didn't have any facts and wasn't historically accurate. And I said, it's just the opposite. It is completely true. 3 million of my Jewish ancestors stood at Mount Sinai and were witness to that event at Mount Sinai. As soon as God started talking to them, he gave them the first 2 obligations, I believe, of the 10 Commandments. I'm going to double check that with my Rav. I think I did. We talked about so many things so fast that, but their souls were coming out of their bodies. I told you guys this before, and they told Moshe, you handle the rest. We can't take it. We're not on a level to have this nevuah. So you handle it. We know you're a prophet because we just had prophecy. So you take the rest of the obligations. You guys here? You're hearing me? Okay. All right. So okay. Stay with me. So then let me backtrack. So then Abraham, then Yitzchak. Now I wanted to find a Poseik in the Torah, the exact Poseik, the exact sentence where God promises the land of Israel to Abraham. Okay, and I will find that and I'll complete this whole thing, but I'm just giving you the highlights of this presentation. Then Yitzchak was also a prophet, to my understanding. Excuse me, we didn't speak about that. We spoke that the promise of the land was renewed with Yitzchak. And then Jacob as well. God added a name to Jacob. He made him Yisrael, which is you fought with God, or his angel, and won, right? So Yisra is Sarisa. You fought with this angel and won. Okay, then Yosef, but there wasn't supposedly any promise of the land again and by Yosef. I don't know why, I'll double check that. Then we stood at Mount Sinai, where we are the children of Israel, the children of Israel. We stood at Mount Sinai. I told you there were 3 million witnesses. with Moshe, and we heard God's voice, and he gave us the Torah. Torah means instructions in Hebrew. And throughout the whole Torah, there are archaeological sites that you could go to, like Machpelah Cave, the cave where Abraham is buried, and the forefathers and foremothers, right? And then you have that is in Hebron, and then you have in Beit Lechem, you have Rachel's tomb, and then you have in Beersheba, the city of Beersheba is there. You could go to Beersheba, and that's in the Chumash, the 5 books of Moses. Then you have the city of Safed, that's in the Navi, in the Nevi'im, in Yehoshua, right? So I was trying to get places and sites that you could go to prove that the Torah is talking about accurate locations, right? And then we go all the way down to like in the Gemara. So when I mean the Torah, it's not only the written law, but our oral law too. You know, these Noahites, these Gentiles who fulfill the 7 laws of Noah. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? You're hearing me, right? I hope so. Can you talk about immortality a little bit? What do you believe about it? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll get to it. I'm getting to it. I was trying to, all right, I'll speed this up because I just wanted to show that Israel belongs to the Jewish people. Okay, a couple of more points real quick and I'll get it to you. We'll go back to immortality. I mean, you got to have this clear in your head in order to accept everything else I'm giving you. I got people that they don't accept Israel belonging to the Jews. And because I'm Ashkenazi, I have no right to it. A lot of stupid stuff. So, okay, so we stood at Sinai, we received the Torah. I told you the second temple wall, the wall, the kotel, which is the wall around the Temple Mount, that also is an archaeological site. You can see, it came from the second temple. That's written about in various Gemaras, Zvachim, Sanhedrin. It's in Midrashim. Avodah Zorah is another Gemara. Okay, here's a major point. The Sephardim, those Jews who would become the Sephardim, they kind of left Israel and they didn't come back. They didn't return. But we, Ashkenazim, what we were called before we became Ashkenazim, we were always there in Israel. In fact, we helped build the second temple. We defeated the Greeks or something, if I'm not mistaken, because he never left Israel. And then later on, we were called Ashkenazim. But, so that's that. And then, so I'm a Jew because I'm a Hebrew, an Ivri. I'm a Bnei Yisrael. I'm one of the children of Israel, of Yaakov, of Israel. And I am from the tribe of Yehuda and one of the Yehudim, one of the 2 divisions of the land. And it's all one and the same. I'm a descendant of Abraham, and that land of Israel belongs to me. If you were a Gentile living in Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, it doesn't matter when you lived there, it was given to Abraham by God. So you have no claim on the land whatsoever. So this whole thing, I don't even want to mention the name, they yell, they go to these rallies and they keep yelling something about it's untrue. And they're just wasting time and breath. Okay, I'm going to get to immortality in a second. And so even if you live there, you have no claim to the land, and that's why it's ours. So that pretty much sums it up. Now we're going to get to the 7 laws of Noah and immortality. So what do you want to know about immortality? Anything specific you want to know? I'm telling you that the only way to be immortal is to fulfill God's one and only instructions, the Torah. Again, the purpose of life. You got to fulfill the purpose of life properly. You're not going to get it from false religions like Christianity or Islam or the other 10,000 false religions on the planet. You're not going to improve yourself. It's like spiritually, you'll be doing the wrong stuff. It's like physically, you wouldn't be. Is this weightlifting? I mean, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm lifting a pen, I gotta have 5-pound dumbbells in my arm to get a little something going on here, right? Same with this, you're not doing anything, especially Christianity, that gets rid of obligations, reward and punishment. You're denying all the dynamics of this existence. That's not right. So I'm trying to get you to we have to fix ourselves spiritually, socially, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. If we get all those levels, if we're doing the right stuff on all of those levels, fulfilling obligations on all the levels, we will just naturally improve. And we will then be worthy of God's gifts. And we probably could defy death. Why do we have to die? Dying is embarrassing. Why should we have to die? I'm 60 years old. I'm middle-aged, according to God. I mean, if I am on a clock of death, then I am supposed to get 120 years. So I'm at 60 years old. I've lived half my life, right? I should have another half left, but I don't want to even settle for that. I want to please God on the highest level, and I want to live past 120 years. I want to be immortal. I want to live eternally. Now, that's another post I'm working on. Once I get the Israel one accomplished, I guess, I want to do one for the purpose of life from birth to death and onward. So like my Rav told me, there's this world called Olam HaNishamos. It's the world of the souls, of the neshamas. After you die, then supposedly your soul gets separated from the body and the soul goes to this Olam HaNishamos world. And I guess if it's good, if the soul did well in this world, fulfilling obligations, and they were righteous people in the world, then I guess they don't have to go down to Gehenna, which is dry cleaning for the soul, so to speak. Your soul has to go down there, and all the sins have to be removed from the soul. You're not going to get to just stay in Olam HaNishamos by fulfilling false religions, because it's not going to help you. There's a concept, maybe, if you didn't know any better, but I wouldn't rely on that. Why not? You're going to waste your life here. There's something where, like, if you, are you listening? Are you hearing me? Am I going to talk to nobody? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Please help. I want to ask you about my life. Okay, hold on a second. He had the words of, all right, what is it here? All right, let's see. Yes, I can hear. I am a Messianic Jew. I believe in Jesus, but I'm curious your thoughts on immortality. Yes, I believe Jesus spoke about it a lot. He had the words of eternal life. Please, okay, and then I am listening. Yes, okay, look. You only claim to be a Messianic Jew. You're Jewish by birth. I assume your biological mother is Jewish, correct? Your biological mother is Jewish? Yes or no? Estium, your biological mom is Jewish? Tell me, yes or no? Because that determines whether you're Jewish or not. If you want to say you're a Messianic Jew, the first part, Messianic, that's having to do with the thoughts in your head. But biologically, you have to be Jewish. So is your mom Jewish? Biologically. You don't want to tell me? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Okay. I am listening. I'm going through a rough time. This is Christy now. This is Cheryl. Okay, wait a second. Let me just take care of him first, and I'll come back to you. Just hold there. All right. Jesus is not a guy you should be following. He's not what you think he is. My Rav told me, it's listed in the Gemaras, the Christians of the time burned our Gemaras because they didn't want this information getting out, yet we were still able to keep it. I'm giving you the truth, okay? Jesus was a student of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Prachia, who was a very high-level rabbi. And I guess he had high demands for his students. So they went to some inn, and the rabbi made a comment, oh, what a beautiful hostess we have, meaning she was taking good care of us. I don't know if I'm getting the words exactly right, What a fine hostess. And Jesus says, what do you mean, Rabbi? She's cross-eyed. She don't look right. And the rabbi got mad at him because I wasn't focused on her physical beauty. I was focused on her traits, her good traits. She took such good care of us, something like that. And the rabbi excommunicated Jesus. And supposedly Jesus kept coming back to apologize. And the rabbi wouldn't accept the apology. And finally, the rabbi was ready to accept the apology, but he was in the middle of praying. So he said to Jesus, 1 minute. And Jesus thought he was pushing him away again. So he left. And then at that point, and the rabbi was criticized in the Gemara that maybe he was too harsh with Jesus. Maybe he should not have excommunicated him, but he pushed him away. And Jesus then went and became a rogue Jew, went off the path, practiced divination, sorcery, magic, black magic, kishuf it's called, my Rav said. And he practiced this black magic, and maybe he was walking on water, I don't know what, maybe he's doing stuff to deceive people, I don't know. So it looks good to your ancestors, but really we know what he's doing. He's practicing black magic, and it ain't nice. And you can get death by stoning, I think it is, for sorcery. And then he went and became a masus. So first he's a diviner or a sorcerer, and then he's a masus, an enticer to idolatry. So he took, I guess, Jews, and he was trying to mislead them toward idol worship. Now Christianity, my Rav said, I think came many years later or something to that. It came after, so it's a little ambiguous. What was he leading people to? So other forms of idol worship, which are not really mentioned. And it wasn't even mentioned what kind of magic he did either. But he was I don't want to say, I think he was tried as a masus. Now, masus gets death also, death by stoning, I think. Now, you wonder, a lot of stuff my Rav said isn't true, like things that Gentiles said about him later. Anyway, the point is he was not our Mashiach, okay? He did not fulfill the qualifications for Mashiach. And he's not alive. And Mashiach has to be alive. Has to come from someone alive, not from the dead. You don't come back a second time or something like that. It's someone who's alive. So that's what I'm taught. And it says in the Torah, now here's the most crucial point. Look, you there? You guys there? This is the most important point, and I'm going to get to you in a second. Is it Cheryl? Shirley. Okay, hang in there. I'm coming right up. Hold on. This crucial point is, and I just learned the importance of this the other day. God says in the Torah, his one and only instructions. He's perfect. He does not make any mistakes. When he comes and says it once, that's it. You don't need some New Testament or another document that's better than God. What an insult. And you expect God to be behind you. These Gentiles in Islam, they think God's going to be behind them. They come with like a third time document after Christianity and with their New Testament, and they think they're going to get, they're pleasing God. God does not want those documents. Why? God says in the Torah, you can look it up, Devarim 4:2 and 13:1, do not add to my instructions, do not delete from my instructions. 2 commandments that we have, that we Jews have. And I always say to you Gentiles, learn the commandments. We'll go through the 7 laws of Noah, and then I'll give you the 10 steps to immortality, and then, maybe not all today, and then we're going to learn all 613. This is like the basis. You learn these obligations, you will have what you need to learn to be immortal. If you don't master these obligations, now if you're a Gentile, I would try to not only hear the 613 and what we'll talk about, because you'll understand how God thinks. He doesn't want people tattooing themselves, which is so predominant in today's world. You think you own your bodies, you write all over yourself, nose rings, things coming at everything. You got things coming at whatever. It's not right. It's God's body. Have a little respect. It's just on loan to us for our soul to traverse through this sojourn. And it's not right to do that. That shows a sort of a disrespect and what's the word about when your mind's not seeing the whole picture and you just think you own everything, like self-entitlement. It's not a good thing. Okay, anyway. So God comes along in his Torah and he says, do not add to my instructions, do not delete from my instructions. I talked to my Rav about it. You're not allowed to write a New Testament. You're not allowed to write a Quran. You're not allowed to write a Communist Manifesto, a Declaration of Independence, a U.S. Constitution, if it goes against God's Torah. And here they're praying 5 times a day. Here they don't even have any obligations. It's a joke. You know, they don't even recognize punishment and reward any longer. They're not even alive. They're not even in the dynamics of the world. All they're doing is they stole my Torah, right? Look up the Septuagint. There was a Ptolemy who forced 70 rabbis. He sequestered them, put them in separate rooms, and had them translate my Torah into Greek without the oral law. Now, the written and the oral Torah came both at Mount Sinai at the same time. They're both important. In fact, I even say to some people, my Rav told me, the oral law is even more, he's a master of the oral law, my Rav. The oral law is more important, he thinks, than the written Torah, because the oral explains the written. It says in the written, God says to Moses, and both were oral before they were written. Just one of them was written sooner than the other, that's all. That's how I look at it. And my Rav agrees, and that's a good way to look at it. So God's dictating to Moses, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Moses says, okay, what do you want me to do? Write that down. So he writes down eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. However, God says, that doesn't mean you poke out someone's eye. That means monetary compensation. Pass that down in the oral law. And there's many examples of that. Tefillin, God says, Moses, write down, they should be a sign upon your arm and between your eyes. Okay? Write it down. He writes it down. That means tefillin. That means black boxes with black straps, and it looks a certain way and it's made a certain way. Got to go to a scribe and they make it up for you. I had them have mine made special, right? And there's thousands of things like that. That's why my Rav says the oral law is more important than the written. But the Gentiles who stole my Torah, that became the Septuagint, that when the Ptolemies stole that, he wanted the Torah translated into Greek, because in Egypt there were Greek states or something. I don't know the complete history, my Rav knows it. And then from that came, I believe, the same King James version of our Torah and other versions of our Torah. They use the Septuagint or something, to my understanding. But how did you get my Torah if you're a Gentile in Christianity? Think about that. That's another area. Like you're writing on your body, you're doing tattooing, and you're not understanding. I had one guy say to me, I'm a Christian. And I said, well, no, you're not. You're not going to take my Torah and make a false religion out of it. And he's like dumbfounded. He doesn't even know where he got my Torah. He don't even know it's mine. That's how stupid. And he's an older guy. I thought to myself, wow. He's like, I think he's older than me. I said, you don't know that? That's my Torah? And then he left before we could start to talk about it. People usually, like this girl, she left. We were talking about something about Israel, and then I was getting an answer for her. But I'm preparing my post, so I didn't care. So she helped me prepare the post with her little snide remarks. And then when I was about to start giving her an answer, she left. So whatever. She deleted all her nonsense. Anyway, I was trying to help her. I'm here for everybody. I love everybody. I'm not picking on anyone. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't bring up stuff. Bring up anything that's on your mind. I'll try to help you. And I'm going to get to you in a second there, Cheryl. Let me just finish with him. So just be a Torah Jew. Again, the purpose of life. We're alive in this world to earn the life of the next world by fulfilling 7 obligations if you're not Jewish, and by fulfilling 613 obligations if you are Jewish. And if you want to please God on the highest level and be immortal, like he originally wanted, he wanted us to be immortal. He did not want us to die. Adam Arishon, the first man, transgressed, ate from that tree, and everything went downhill. And so God punished us, and he granted us only 120 years if we're fortunate to even have that. We have a chance to serve a king, an infinite king, and please him and try to do what he wants. Look at us. We're a walking miracle. What do you call it? Skin around muscle and bone, and we can think and speak. We breathe, we think, we speak, we hear. what a walking miracle we are. Some people don't even see that. I got to figure out all kinds of ways to impress upon you these basic truths. Don't take anything for granted. Have hakaras tov. Have gratitude. Have appreciation. Appreciate the good that God does for you. He helps you breathe. Some people have a hard time breathing. I know people are on inhalers, they're on respirators. My mom was on a respirator in her last days. It wasn't pleasant, so appreciate what you got. Anyway, just finishing up with him. And we have 10 steps to immortality. So we earn the world to come by fulfilling the 7, the 613, and the 10. And that's it. Jesus was not our king. Why do Gentiles care who our king is in the first place? It's crazy stuff. They just wanted a physical representation of God. It's like they probably wanted a golden calf kind of a thing because God's invisible. He's immense and infinite, and yet he hides himself. How does he do that? and he's just hidden until he does something in the creation, and we say, "Oh, that was God that just did that." You're walking down the street, and somebody accidentally bumps into you, and you were about to walk into the street and get hit by a car, and God made this guy bump into you, and you're mad at the guy. Meanwhile, he saved your life, because had you taken another step, you would have been mowed over by a truck. So God saved you. Then you see, wow, that was the hand of God. All right. So my advice to you, my friend, forget Jesus. Don't even get involved. Just learn the 613. We're going to learn all the obligations and just master them. Let me get to Cheryl. Hold on a second. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. I'll ask him. Okay, so you believe he is seated at the right hand of God? There is a Jew at the right hand of God? No. That's all a lot of Gentile made up stuff. When they mistranslate my Torah, they try to force his name into every sentence. His name was never mentioned in my Torah. He got slaughtered like all the other prophets. No, I don't think. That doesn't sound like. I'm just giving you my gut instincts right away off the cuff. So did the other Jew apostles. No. And the apostles are gates of the New Jerusalem. No. I believe it's all about what Jesus did on the. No. All that stuff, it's just made up stuff. And they sit around talking about that stuff all day long. It's annoying. It's not true at all. I'm just telling you my opinions and from my experience in Torah and from my Rav, who's a Poseik. I study with a Poseik. All right, let me get to Cheryl. How are you pronouncing it? C-H-I-R. Shiriel. I think I said it right. Okay, I'm going through a tough time. The problem revolves around hierarchies and politics. Some people get validated, some people get excluded, ignore it, and they make me feel like that you will fail. So what do you mean? Okay. So what do you mean? Don't get. I'm going through a rough time. The problem revolves around hierarchies. Just know who you are. Okay. Know the purpose of life. That gives you confidence. When you know why you're alive, you just make every day count to fulfill that purpose. I try to make every action an obligation, fulfilling action. I don't get sidetracked from that. And I know there's a government going on around me, and I try to be a good member of the government. I didn't vote for anybody. I did not vote for Mr. Trump. I don't believe in voting for people who do not know why we're alive. To be honest with you, that's my opinion. I haven't voted since I'm 18. I don't agree. I knew there was something wrong with something. I just didn't agree with it. So I'd rather stay out of it. But I do say, even though I did not vote for him and I don't agree with maybe some of his character traits and some of the things he does, he did get elected. Somehow God got him in there. So I try my best to help bring out his A game. I don't want to do anything that's going to make him falter. He's an older man. I don't want him feeling bad about anything. I want him feeling good about himself so that he can go bring his A game for us. He's battling so many things, and he just got rid of people of a false religion. In 45 minutes, he knocked out all that leadership that for 47 years they've been bugging us. They want to kill us and death to this, death to that. They don't know why they're alive. They make up a false religion. They don't know about Bilam being the last Gentile prophet. They think they've got the truth. They don't check with Jews because they hate us, and they don't even ask us any questions, so they'll never know the truth, and they'll die being ignorant, and that's stupid. So I'm reaching out to try to save their life. So why are you going through a tough time? It revolves around hierarchies and politics. Some people get validated and some get excluded. Ignore it. And they make me feel like I will fail. You got to have confidence in yourself. So that's just, when you know the purpose of life, you're not going to falter like that. How to find that purpose. I just told you the purpose. I gave it to you on a silver platter. Hold on a second. Anything more to say, or should I sit down? Anything else you want to say? How to find that purpose? We're alive to earn the next world. I know it's hard to fathom, especially when I didn't come from obligations in my life. I was a pleasure seeker, and I'm here trying to, just get through the day, floating from pleasure to pleasure, and that's not why we're here. In fact, once I started knowing the truth, God took away all pleasures, and I'm just here to serve him and make him happy. I'm here to give him pleasure. That's a 180 switch on me. I didn't expect that coming, and it takes a while to accept that. That's not easy to accept, that we're here to fulfill obligations and we can get punished if we do not. Wow. But it's awesome. And you realize, wow, that's the dynamics. These are the dynamics of this world. Yeah. And that's the purpose. The purpose is to earn the next world by fulfilling obligations. If you are a Gentile or a Jew, if you're a Gentile, you have 7 obligations. If you are a Jew, then you have 613 obligations. Most any, I think, I have to double check on this. I read some things that might be challenge to this, but I think most any Gentile could convert to being Jewish. You first master the 7 obligations, and then come to the 613 when you're ready. Because first you got to get used to handling obligations and punishment and reward. That's tricky. It takes a little, you got to get some fortitude. It's rough. And he punishes, boy, and he'll get you with all kinds of stuff. You're about to brush your teeth, and he makes it slip out of your hand, and your toothbrush with the toothpaste falls on the dirty floor, or picks up sand, and now you gotta, clean your toothbrush. He does stuff like that. You gotta be, Hashem, why'd you do that for? Because you did something wrong, and he just gave you a potch. You get sensitive to that, and you start to see how that happens all the time. And he catches you at any moment. He can do it anywhere at any time. And that's why I got to just keep my nose clean and stay on the straight and narrow and do what God wants me to do. So that's the purpose. So once you can convert, take on the 613, then you cannot convert back. Once you convert over, you better make sure darn well that that's what you want to do. And it's ironic because God put in the system that you can choose to be chosen. I was born chosen. I cannot convert out. I know some of my Jewish friends, they think they can convert out and marry a Gentile. They cannot. So they're always Jewish. In fact, their kids are Jewish, but they have a Gentile father, and that's not what God really wants. He wants 2 Jews to marry each other. He wants Gentiles to marry them to each other. He wants Gentiles marrying each other, and he wants Jews marrying each other. Gentiles, please don't marry Jews. Sometimes there are misguided Jews and they don't know what the heck they're doing. Just say to them very kindly, listen, you're Jewish. I could see that God exists and he wants you to marry another Jew. You better rethink this. I love you. I care about you. Because I love you and care about you, I'm not going to marry you because you'll be making a transgression. You can get, it's obligation 427, do not intermarry with the Gentiles. You could get whiplashes, what's it called? Flogging, or you can even possibly get death. I saw in one of the descriptions, but it was unsure. Some things weren't so clear in the Sefer HaChinuch, the book of education, that describes each obligation and its punishments. So I'm going to read now from the 7 laws of Noah for you Gentiles, and let's do another obligation. We are on Okay, we are on number 4. We did 1 through 3 already, right? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to rewrite these eventually because I saw kind of how I put it online. I took it from the Rambam and it was a little cryptic. The way it, maybe this was the English translation or something, I don't know, but I like things charted very precisely. My dad was an ex-Marine. He was an accountant, very organized. I want everything just do this, do not do this, do not do that, kind of a thing like that. So I'm going to make another chart, but go through them with me and I'll be thinking about everything as we're doing it. Eventually I'll rewrite them, but use what I wrote there. Look, we're progressing to that target and getting in the bullseye. I don't like saying bullseye, but getting into the center of the target. So let's just head toward the target and I'll keep adjusting and fixing, and before you know it, it'll be so fine-tuned and right, and we'll just be on and we'll nail it, and God will say, wow, you guys did great. And he's helping us. He's not going to leave us here to, chase our tail around. He's going to help us get it right, okay? I believe in that. I trust in that. And by the way, there are more parts of Israel that belong to us. I just unfolded something. I think, I don't want to say yet. Let's just, whatever. Don't worry about it. I think I have some music on the back of here. These are tritone substitutions, don't worry, if you happen to see it upside down. I studied with a man named Sanford Gold, and he taught me that there's 3 circles of 4 possible chords, that they're all interchangeable, and all their suspensions are interchangeable. It's a whole thing. Anyway, okay, so I don't want to talk about Israel anymore. Let's talk about obligation number 4 for the Gentiles. Do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. Okay, you guys with me? You there? Okay, hold on. Thank you so much. All right, guys. See, okay, talk amongst yourselves. Let's see here. How to find that verse? Okay, the 7 obligations, right? For you, so you, Cheryl, are a Gentile, so you need to fulfill the 7 obligations, right? So that's what you should do. If your biological mother is not Jewish, then you are a Gentile, and you are responsible for the 7 laws of Noah. If your biological mother is Jewish, then you have the 613 obligations, and you are a Jew. You have a lot more obligations. I know that's a bit of a shocker if you thought you were a Gentile. And I know some people, they find out they're Jewish. Oh, no, now they got to fulfill 613. I'm an Indian, and my name is Bahadra. Cheryl, okay. Cheryl means in laugh in my language. To laugh. Shiriel. Yitzchak means and he laughed, right? That's why, because Yitzchak, because Sarah, his mom, laughed when he was born. How could you give me a baby? I'm so old. I probably don't have my menses. How are you going to give me a baby? And the point is anything too hard for God? He made human beings. He could certainly make a human being and give you a child no matter what your situation is, right? So that's interesting. So Shiriel means in laugh in my language. Wow, interesting. And thank you for so much for your advice. No problem. I'm here to help. Okay, hi Cheryl, how are you? God bless you. Okay, his name there. All right. So where are we? Let's start reading then. All right, so this is a big one. Okay. Obligation number 4, do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. Sources, Midrash derives. Now, Midrash is like an outside teaching that helps us understand the Torah. And it's from the rabbis and from our klal. It's from our masses of people. It's basically more oral law passed down, okay? There are various midrashim, Midrash Rabbah, Midrash Tanchuma, Yalkut Shimoni, those are the main ones that my Rav told me I need to study. Midrash derives from Bereshis 2:6. Now we're in the Chumash, right? So the Midrash, this oral law, which explains the written law, derives from a verse in the written law, Bereshit 2:16, 2:24, 20, verse 13, 20, verse 3. Now we're into Jeremiah 3, verse 1. And then I wrote down the Rambam in Hilchos Malachim. The Rambam was an authority on Torah, like my Rav. He wrote a codification of the Torah called the Mishneh Torah. I think I gotta get back to I don't know, it was like, my colleagues don't pronounce it right, Mishneh. It's Mishneh, it's in a construct, the Smichut state, Mishneh Torah, and it means, I don't know, there's two Torahs or an explanation of the Torah. Mishnah, Shana is like teeth, to sink your teeth into, or you it's an explanation. I'll get you, I don't exactly have it right now. I've always been a little skeptical. I just went for the information, not so much its name, and I should do the name first, I know, and I did. At one point I had it, I don't know why I don't have it in front of me now, sorry. You can look it up, and I think it's Mishneh Torah. The Rambam meant his compendium, his work, his halachic codification, Jewish law codification, he meant it so that you would just take the Chumash, and then you'd go skip everything else, and you'd have a summation in his compendium with the exact law of what to do. It was like a brilliant concept. And the problem is he didn't list any sources. He was a Poseik, an authority, like my Rav like him. And he didn't list any sources. People had to source it later. And I asked my Rav, why didn't he put any sources? He should have put some sources in there. We know what to do. He said that was the style of the way he wrote, that people knew he was a Poseik. He doesn't have to write in the sources. He's just, maybe he was going through a hard time. Maybe he's in a generation where they're all being false and everything, and you don't know where truth is, and he just knew his reputation would speak for itself, would precede him, and he just wrote down, this is the law. Do this. This is how you put on tefillin. This is how you put up a mezuzah. This is how you pray 3 times a day. This is how you eat kosher food. And he doesn't give us any sources. I guess maybe he figured we would find the sources for ourselves. Maybe it would force us, I'm trying to get into the Rambam's head, maybe it would force us to study Torah, because a lot of us slough off. We sleep. We say, I'll leave the studying for the rabbis. I don't want to do it. That's not true. Every Jew should study Torah. Every Gentile should study the Torah that pertains to your 7 obligations. You're not allowed to really study my Torah. That should be an incentive to you to maybe convert. My Rav thinks you should convert. I think you should convert. Master the 7 first, the 7 laws, then when you're ready, you're okay with obligations, you want to do more for God, you see how this place ticks, you got the purpose of life down, you know the dynamics, you're banging out mitzvahs left and right, making every action an obligation, fulfilling action. You'll know when you're ready, and then you come to me and tell me, and I'll work it out so you can convert. There's like a sheet of, a list, a book list you got to know. Hopefully I'll teach you all that stuff here, all the hashkafa, the worldview stuff that comes from Torah. I'll give it to you the best I can. And then you read these books on the list and you study, and then you take a test. And I think then you convert. You have to go to a mikveh. I think you have to dip. A mikveh is a body of water of 40 seyas of water. It's a measurement, and it's got to be a kosher mikveh. And you go in there and you dip, and you come out, and you are a Jew. And you get a new soul. You get a higher level soul. You get one that handles the 613. Interesting concept. You started with one soul for the 7 laws of Noah, and then you get another soul when you dip in that mikveh, and I think you have to have a panel of 3 judges, like a basin. I think, I got to review that, but I think my Rav has, he gets you 2 other Rebbeim with my Rav or something. Maybe I could do it. I don't know. I have to take my tests and get myself accredited and whatnot. And then I can be me and my Rav and another one. And then you are, I guess, approved or something, do the mikveh, and then you're a Jew. And then you start living like a Jew. And you get a special obligation. We are supposed to treat converts very nicely. Like we have an obligation to treat the Kohanim, a Kohen, with greater respect. You're not supposed to do terrible things to converts to Judaism, converts and orphans, widows and orphans, converts, something like that. I'll get to those obligations. I have them here. Let me see if I can find them for you so you know what to expect. Other human beings, I just turned right to it. Let's see. Prophets, kings, Kohanim, right. Let's see. Levium, Yisraelim, Jewish slaves, Gentile slaves, masters. A slave is treated like a hired worker, and you get gifts when you leave. It's like a high level. It's not like slavery, like American slavery to the black man. It's a higher, nicer level of. It's like you're an indentured servant of some sort, something like that. Poor people, Gentiles. Do love 431. Do love converts to Jewish obligation fulfillment. That's how I worded it. I took the Torah and I re-summarized it. 63, do not oppress, agitate, or shame a proselyte, even with words. I guess you would be a proselyte as someone who converts, right? I think a proselyte is that. 64, do not wrong or exploit a proselyte in monetary matters. So, Jews cannot cheat you or anything like that. Be careful. Just letting you know these obligations. Now, when I let you know the obligations, then Hashem usually sends those tests and challenges to you, but you'll be ready for them. So those are obligations that you should be ready for. But here, 431, do love converts to Jewish obligation fulfillment. Do love converts to Judaism. That's basically what it means. So we have an obligation to take good care of you guys. Okay? Is there anything else I missed for you? A Messorah. Here I was talking about Jesus. These are the laws of a Messorah. Yeah. All right, we're not going to get back to that again. All right, let's continue. All right. So now, in the Rambam, in Hilchos Malachim, the laws of kings, chapter 9, halacha 1. Halacha means law, or, a law. So, Malachim 9:1, chapter 9, halacha 1, and chapter 5, and 5 through 8. Excuse me. So maybe it's, oh boy. Since I put it after the colon, I guess I meant, okay, so chapter 9, halacha 1, and halacha 5 through 8 is what I think I wrote. Double check me when you do. Reason. So what's the reason for this obligation? To establish a moral and stable society. When you fulfill these 7 laws of Noah, it's a beautiful society in which we live. You don't have to worry about maybe locking your doors when you leave the house. Everything's copacetic, you know what I'm saying? We all get along with each other. No one's stealing from each other. No one's going to push an old man down a staircase or something, because that's murder. Do not murder. It's a violation of that murderer could get death by decapitation or something. You understand? Most of these punishments for you guys is death by decapitation. Maybe that's where the expression "heads will roll" came from. I don't know. Could be from England and the kings and whatnot. I don't know, but they probably stole it from us. Whatever. Okay, so that's the reason. The punishment in general is death by decapitation. Reward, you're considered pious and merits a share in the world to come. You merit a share in the world to come by fulfilling these 7 laws. Of course, you might not get as high a level as if you fulfilled the 613. That's why I recommend, get this mastered and hurry up. I don't know how much time we got left, to be honest with you. Let's not waste time on Jesus and false prophets and things. Let's stay on track, because the world is supposed to end in the year 6000. And we only got about 200 and some odd. This is the year 5786, according to the Jewish calendar, which is the correct calendar. So 6,000 minus 5,786 is how many years we got left. So you might not even be here. We may not, if you're immortal, maybe. So let's work on that, becoming immortal. This is all important information. Take our time with it. Let's master it. And don't waste time on false religions. My Rav said, if you're going to take on these 7 laws of Noah, he said, I met these Noahites. I'm in a group with Noahites, and wow, they're so cool. They left all the falsity of the world, and they call it, this is why I wanted to mention it, they call it Rabbinic Judaism. And now, I understand why they do that, because, as I said, the Gentiles who became Christian, they don't accept the oral law. So it's like me giving you a television set, and I have the manual here. It's a brand new TV, 2027, right? Hasn't even come out yet. It's got all kinds of bells and whistles, and I have a manual here, the oral law, right? It's also written down. And I give it to you, you say, oh, no, I don't want your manual. I'll figure it out myself. And you think every sentence means press the on button, Jesus, 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 press the on button, right? And you don't know what the heck you're doing with my Torah. His name was never mentioned, only in the Gomorrah where you guys burned it, right? But we still have the copies of it, which is very ironic, right? So I asked my Rav when we were walking somewhere, I said, Rav, is Jesus' name ever alluded to anywhere? He said, no. Gets mad at me, I'm asking a stupid question. I just wanted I covered for you guys because you keep hammering me. What about Jesus this? What about Jesus that? So I'm trying to help you out, but in case I miss something. But I should be confident in my own understanding is that his name was never mentioned, period. He was not our Mashiach, and he did some bad things. And maybe he posed as a good guy to your ancestors, but he had them fooled. Just like these Gentiles have us fooled. They're taking over the world, and they pose as nice people, and they're smiling and everything, and they're trying to be so kind and everything. Meanwhile, they're planning their attack, how they're going to make the whole world obey a false religion. God's not going to let that happen, and you shouldn't let that happen. Latch on to the truth. This is the only way to get immortality. Stay with the truth, get rid of the falsity. Okay? Got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and hang on to what you know to be true. Okay? All right, where are we? So the details now. So you merit a share in the world to come. Oh, so they call it rabbinic. We hold by rabbinic Judaism, the Noahides. And I can see why they say that. Because the other ones get rid of the oral law, the Gentiles who are Christians. And that's how they call themselves. You got to learn their lingo. Go to these Gentile Noahide groups, Noahide, or B'nai Noah, Bneinoah. Sometimes there's a spelling Noach, Noach, because that's probably the correct way to pronounce the chet. That is, in Hebrew, his name, Nun, Cholam, and Chet, right? Chet. So, Noach, it's not Noah, but it's Noach. Noach. Okay, just so you know, there's a Hey, a Chet, and a Chaf. A Hey is Ha, sounds like an H. Chet, my friend who was a Yerushalmi Jew, Simcha, he explained it to me the best. It's a little more in the throat than it's a guttural, like the hay, but it's an ayin is a guttural. Im. You pronounce it in the throat. Some people write it as a G, but so there's a hey, a chet, and a chaf. A cha, like I don't know a word right now. Chala. What do you call it? Chasen, kala. But when you take the doge shot, it's chala. That's a full kind of sound. Simcha has a chet in there, and it's simcha. It's a little in the throat, but not, it's in between the hay and the chaf. Whatever. Just thought I'd mention that. We'll do that another time. I got to brush up on all my diktuk, my Hebrew grammar, and give you all the rules. I learned them all, and I got to organize them. And when I get to that in my learning, right now I'm just trying to finish up the Gomorrah in English. I have 3 more Masechtas. Okay, let's read on. Stay with me. We'll just do this obligation and we'll stop. Oh, and this one's kind of long. Hold on, I don't know if we can do it. Wow, that's long. Okay, the details. Gentile male. Okay, this applies to you Gentile males now, okay? This is how the Rambam wrote it out. And he didn't really mention the woman, a Gentile female. My Rav had to figure it out logically, which was very challenging. He did it, and he has to use his knowledge of the whole Torah to come up. You'll see it doesn't parallel the Gentile male very well. I think I only did 3 of them for the male. There are 6 for the male. I only did 3 for the woman, I think. Hold on a second. Right, I only did 4, 5, and 6. I got to go back to him. I even wrote question mark 1, 2, and 3. A lot of work we got, but at least we're on the target. Let's get on the target. Okay, Gentile male, do not be intimate with 1, your mother, even though she was seduced or raped by your father and never married to him. Regardless, she is your mother. I'm going to read that again. Gentile male, do not be intimate with 1, your mother. I guess that's your biological mother, even though she was seduced or raped by your father and never married to him. Regardless, she is your mother because you came out of her. You came forth from your biological mother. 2, your father's wife, even after your father's death, you're not allowed to be intimate with her. Why is that? Maybe because, see, now the reason, let me put a question mark there. Reason. That's an interesting question. Your father's wife, even after your father's death. So it's his wife, but she's not your biological mother, but you're not allowed to be intimate with her even after he dies. Why? Why is that? Is she part of his flesh, and then your father's part of your flesh, so therefore you'd be sleeping with your flesh? Then maybe that's what only comes to my mind based on all my knowledge. 1 flesh, I'll put that down. Okay. 3, a married woman. You cannot be intimate with a married woman. Now, he goes on to explain, with a Gentile woman, you are not executed if you were intimate in an abnormal manner before a consummated marriage. With a Gentile woman, see, this is tricky stuff. I know we talked about so many things. Let me just see if, I don't know if I can have the koach strength right now to get into that. But let's see, I really respect Jewish people. Okay. So how are you? I don't want to read all your comments out loud. I know you talk to each other. Respect, maybe we're making a match. Oh, no, he's Jewish and she's Gentile. Be careful there. And she can convert. I was commenting on something online and my Rav said, why don't you find out if she's single? I said, I don't know if she's Jewish. Let's see, I really respect Jewish people because I see many things in them like I have felt like they are really intelligent. Well, thank you. We try. We have to study God's divine will. It forces us to have to put our mind to the utmost test. But what does they know that we don't know? Well, I'll tell you what we know that you don't know. We know why we're alive, and you don't. And I'm trying to help you. I gave you the purpose of life. That's the purpose of life. Once you know that, how many things do we know that you don't know? Some things are in the soul that are intuitive. You would not know that unless you had the soul that we have. When you convert and you get that soul, you will know things. I know some women who are converts and they have the beginnings of that awareness. There's something there. Maybe it's, I don't know if it could be so elusive that to talk about it, unless I can articulate it. I don't know. Right now, I don't know if I feel comfortable talking about it, but there are, how do I say it? I don't know. Let's leave that on hold. But I told you, the basic thing is we know why we're alive, and I'm trying to teach that to you. Hi, and God bless you too. All right, guys. So let's hold there, and I'll pick it up there next week, and we'll get into these 7 laws, and maybe I'll have my Israel post all worked out, God willing, or maybe my purpose of life post from birth to death and onward to Olam HaNishamos and into Techias HaMesim. My Rav said Techias HaMesim is back here in this same world again. Our soul reunites with our body here in this world. All right. On that note, make every action an obligation fulfilling action, and we're getting closer. We'll get to immortality. Don't you worry. We're on the right track. All right. Love you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.